Alright, welcome to week 6 of the Joltville series, and it's official. Patch 3.3 is coming out October 24th, so we have a few things to do. So far, still no level increase, but we should be getting one in patch 3.3. But starting out, you want to go ahead and take a look at your casual tab, starting with Artificial Island. And first, you want to go ahead and hit this present icon, so that way you can collect your resources because you can only hold those for 24 hours. And once it hits 12 Eastern, you want to check in this area and see if you have an old man icon. And if you don't, I recommend that you check your friends, your crewmates, or just people out in the worlds that give you access, so that way you can get those free items. And if you want more details about this, check out this video. But you want to go ahead and visit your island at least once a week. Once inside, you want to go ahead and hit this triangular icon and go to your exchange store. That way you can buy your weekly items for the week. And if you're training pets, you want to make sure that you visit at least once a day so that way you can feed them. But you want to make sure that you go around your island and kill your enemies, at least your bosses, before they respawn on Monday. Next, we have fishing. Ideally, you want to try to get your fishing level to 9. That way you can buy the weekly standard major seed. And if you're just starting out, you can buy 100 to 150 green bait. And with the rest of your available bait for the week, you can buy purple bait. Bringing us to Ronnie the resource dealer. Now you want to make sure that you buy your mini pelican shards, especially if you're a vote main, as well as get your energy and your potent omnium crystal before he resets on Monday. Bringing us to appointed research. Now you want to make sure that you're doing this at least every other day, so that way your energy does not cap, because you can only hold 20 energy. So that we can keep getting your 5 free energy a day. And next we have racing. If you need Mira, you may want to try to get your racing done before the month is over, because if you can rank in the top 100, you can get 400 Mira. And lastly, we have the trap section. So if you notice, I have my special capture to level 6. So I started working on my celestial capture. The reason being is because in patch 3.3, we're able to get a mount once we reach level 5, if we get lucky. On top of that, we're going to get an extra pin and a whole nother section of beasts that we can capture. But at the very least, you might want to try to get your daily capture experience in case there's something you want to get in the future. Next, you want to do your daily bounties, and I recommend that you save your keys for the upcoming patch. But it is a small area, so it may not be that pressing of a matter. And then you want to go ahead and knock out your Mia's Kitchen, bringing us to Vitality, starting with joint operations. So you want to go ahead and make sure that you knock out at least 1 JO so that way you can get your daily first clear reward. Also, it's a good habit to go ahead and check this instance affix, because if you notice today, we have a chance to get Silka shards. So hopefully you were able to save some vitality on Friday so that way you can get a lot of shards today. And one other thing to know, for patch 3.3, we are going to be getting new Titan pieces to where we're going to be able to get boots and chest pieces. So if your gear is not the greatest, you may want to start farming some of those. Next, we have Interstellar Exploration, and you want to check Vera as well as check Aspera. And ideally, you want to go for your level 3 or level 2 stargates, and how you're able to tell is by looking at the star icon above the stargates. And with us getting a level increase next patch, you may want to start trying to get some weapon materials if you're not ready. But if you can't find any level 3 or level 2 stargates, you could always do dimensional trials and simply press go and do quick battle. And you can do the same for matrix data packs and gold. Bringing us to our optionals, and that is giving gifts to your 1.0 characters. And the best way to do that is to go to the black market and talk to Hopkins, see this island and do the claw machine, or do your 2 trainings for the day. You also can do your 8 fun zones, which will allow you to get training points as well as Mira. But what is not optional is to do your security force mission, so that way you can get those old Vera coins in Mira. If you have not already cleared out the gray space, you might want to try to knock out your 6 gray space fishers. But there are better rewards in the Twilight Zone, but you do have an 8-hour time limit, so you could wait on this. Bringing us to our events. So hopefully you logged in enough times to go ahead and get all of the supply run. We have a new Gachapon, so if you want to go ahead and get the Melina Simulacrum, feel free to roll on that, but I recommend that you use Tanium. And of course, we have till the end of the patch to roll on Feise, as well as our reruns. But if you want to know how strong I consider these characters, feel free to check out this video. Bringing us to the big event, to where you want to make sure that you go ahead and clear the store of all the items that you want to try to get, because there are some pretty valuable items in this store. And if you're behind on points, the events that you can play are Monopoly, but that does take quite a while, so I don't recommend Bubble Rumble, which is a fairly short game, and I recommend doing that one if you're trying to quickly get points. And then we have a new one called Cloud Arena Martial Arts, to where it looks like it's similar to the dance battle that we did before. So while you're in this section, you can go ahead and start preparing for patch 3.3. there's going to be a new boss to where we're going to need materials from the host server to unlock. You can get this one from the cursed armors on the bottom section of the new map. The other item that we can farm are armors off of these mobs, and this is a really good spot to AFK farm those. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about patch 3.3. As I said earlier, it is coming out October 24th. And I put a poll on my channel discussing how you wanted me to do the character showcases in the future. And it looks like the winner was both. So I'm going to be doing a pool pass video as well as a DPS calculation video for Ling Hong. Also, if you want to see some of the testing, be sure to check out Muwasa Gaming over at Twitch. And we should be streaming that on October 16th around 9 p.m. Eastern. And I will try to do a quick detailed video discussing all the things coming in patch 3.3. So look forward to seeing that on the channel. Which brings us to the mentorship. So ideally you're taking your mentees and getting the 100 points for the week. That way you can graduate them and get some pretty nice rewards. And you want to at least take one mentee a week and do the co-op missions. And for the store, I recommend that you get the Titan compiling module, the data repeaters, and if you have enough points, the golden gear. And if you have not already got all of your statues leveled up, don't forget to do your weekly energy. If you've been doing this since the patch came out, this week you should have enough to level up every statue. Then of course you have your market board. You want to go ahead and check this out so that way you can sell your monthly items. As you can see, I sold most of my monthly items, so now I'm just waiting for better deals and working on next month. But I still recommend that you check each shop and see if you see any good deals on some of the materials that are used to make the item. And lastly, don't forget to check the Beast Tamer if you're capturing pets, because this changes every week. Bringing us to the weekly tab. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything down here so that way you can collect everything up top. But do make sure that you're doing at least all the missions that offer you keys. And again, I recommend that you save your keys for patch 3.3, as well as your boxes, because you might need some Vera keys for the weekly boss. Bringing us to challenges. So if you're trying to do something like the Bygone Phantasm or Frontier Clash, you may want to save your Mia's Kitchen so that way you can power yourself up. Starting with Bygone Phantasm, and if you have a good weapon buff, then you want to try to climb a few floors. But if your CS is high enough, you may be able to do this sneak to next level and jump up 11 levels as long as you can beat that floor. But don't forget about Sequential Phantasm. If you already maxed out all the levels, then you don't have to worry about this unless you're trying to improve your times. Wormhole. Now this resets in 4 days, so you want to make sure that you go ahead and do this so that way you can get those micro-reactor shards. Frontier Clash. You want to go ahead and knock this out so that way you can get that golden gear. Frontier Evolution. Now you only have 10 days before this resets, so you want to go ahead and try to get your strongest team possible so that way you can try to get as many rewards as you can. Origin of War. You may want to try to get with some people and go ahead and clear this, since the difficulty is dropping and you want to try to get all of those rewards. Void Rift. Is this a first time boss for you? You want to go ahead and knock it out. Void Abyss. I recommend that you get a strong team together so that way you can go ahead and knock it out. For this month, I ended up going Vote using Mimi, and these were the buffs that I got. So as you can see, they're pretty powerful. So one strategy to do this is just to wait towards the end of the month and just try to get really strong buffs like I did. Raids. Now you want to go ahead and knock out your weekly raid. Ideally, you want to try to do this on challenging, but if you do find that too difficult, you could always do heroic to where you don't really miss that many rewards. And for the big raid, if you've been having trouble clearing this one in 2 days, they're going to reduce the difficulty. Break from Destiny. Now you want to make sure that you do this at least once a month so that way you can get those 250 dark crystals. And how you can tell if you did it for the month is to click on this information tab. Arena. If you're trying to reach Grand Marshal, you might want to put a couple hours in each day. Then we got our daily buys, so you want to go to shop and make sure that your monthly pass is active, because this is one of the best deals in the game. And for my dolphins, you might want to make sure that this is active. And then we have the hot tab. So for vitality solutions, I recommend that you get no more than 2 a day. The reason being is because you're giving up 21 rolls every time a new character comes out. But one thing you do want to try to go for are your advancement modules and booster modules for the week. Bringing us to the Commissary, starting with the Crystal Dust Store. So ideally, you want to buy your Potent Omnium Crystal, your Advancement Module, your Booster Module, your Augmentation Box, and your Augmentation Factor for the week. And you might as well go ahead and buy your Vera Special Gifts. Space Time Store. Now you want to buy your Advancement Modules, your Booster Modules, and your Data Repeater for the week. And if you have extra shards, you could consider buying IP shards. Brew Store. Now the only thing that you want to spend your points on are relics, and the relics that I recommend are either Omnium Shield or Space Time Rift. Support Store. Now if you have a lot of support points, I recommend that you get the gold, the space-time crystal fragments, and you could consider getting the space-time crystal dust and the black nucleus. And if you have returner points, I recommend that you get the proof of purchase, the space-time crystal fragments, and if you have an abundance, you can consider getting the radar detector and the gold nucleus. Point store. Now the only thing that you want to spend your points on are spare special gifts, so that way you don't have to do training, black market, or Caesar's Island again. But if you need to level up your matrices or weapons, you could always buy matrix data packs or weapon batteries. And with your critical points, I recommend that you save. But besides that, I just recommend that you explore all the maps so that way you can get all of those rewards. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If so, feel free to give a like so that way we can spread more on YouTube. But other than that, I'll talk with you guys later.